12 days later this month and into October, Calgary rolling out the red carpet for one of the biggest film festivals in Canada. The Calgary International Film Festival has announced its full 2015 lineup and features great work from all over the world as well as here at home. To give us a preview is CIF Executive Director Steve Schroeder along with Trevor Smith, who is closing out the festival. It's your film about Alberta band, The Smalls. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Jill.
You know, this time is going to fly until the end of September, I know, especially for you. You've got lots of work to be done. But let's talk a little bit about the growth of the festival. It's 15 years old this
16,
year.
actually.
16.
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I like that. And how has the festival really grown in the last 16 years?
Tremendously, I have to say. I mean, even from the first year, I wasn't with the festival at the first year, but even year one in 2000, it was quite an explosion out of nowhere, really, for the audience in Calgary. I think the organizers at that time knew that they were onto something. Last year, though, we had a record box office by a huge margin. It was a real breakthrough. I mean, Calgary audiences embraced the festival like never before last year. It was something like a 42% increase in audience last year.
Wow.
Thousands and thousands more came last year, and I think hopefully we'll be able to do something like that again this year. Yeah,
obviously an appetite for good films here in Calgary, and we were speaking a little bit earlier about the premiere of the festival, which will be Paul Gross's new film, and then you get to close things out with the closing gala. Tell us about your project and working with the Smalls.
It's called The Smalls Forever is a Long Time. It's a documentary about what I think is one of Alberta's most interesting and important bands. They were a real phenomenon in the 90s, and they're good friends of mine, and I never felt that sort of their discography, their impact on generations of people was sort of given its fair dues. So when I heard that they were reuniting last year, I took it upon myself to make a proposal to them to make a film, and we followed their reunion tour when they got together very briefly for 22 dates.
Right.
And we captured that and sort of take a look back at the band and their sort of impact.
What's always so interesting about documentary films is you never really know where you're going to land in the end. And so tell us about the trajectory and what was outstanding to you in digging in and discovering the ins and outs of the band.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understood the band as a fan and friend from a musical standpoint, but I think this time around, myself as a 44-year-old, and those guys are all 45-ish, looking back at ourselves in our 20s, and there's that sort of disconnect, but in an interesting way. For me, it was fun this time to look at them as artists and sort of men reevaluating our artistic and sort of creative impact. And it was that sort of character study that I found interesting this time around. And then, of course, looking at Corb Lund as sort of perhaps the phoenix from the ashes of the band.
Right.
I mean, I consider them always a success, and what they did was phenomenal in 10 years. But when I evaluated the band in hindsight, I see that Corby sort of expressed and continued to carry on a lot of that independent spirit in his music.
Yeah, quite an interesting character, and one to be explored, a great part of you know, Alberta, and looking forward to that. We're going to roll through some of the other picks that you have, Steve. So let's talk with The Lady in the Van.
Yeah, well, The Lady in the Van already clear, just with tickets being on sale less than a day. This will be one of the big films of the festival. Maggie Smith, one of Britain's all-time great actresses, in this really charming character portrait of an eccentric elderly lady living out of her van. She parked her van in a writer's driveway for 15 years and just kind of lived there. And a really charming film. Okay, charming. It's a comedy as well, and something for all in that there's lots of documentary and drama. We've got time for one more pick, so what should we go for? Sure, well, let's do a documentary. Let's talk about Hip Operation, which is a documentary out of New Zealand about a group of seniors in a retirement residence who decide to form basically a hip-hop group and travel to Las Vegas for a hip-hop competition. It's really, this one just electrifies and uplifts audiences like crazy. Okay, wonderful. And you'd also selected Maru and Room as well, which we don't have time to get to. Unfortunately, there's so many films to be enjoyed for the festival. And of course, the galas are great too. Yes, indeed. Yeah, please join us for those. Okay, and you can join for your film in the premiere at CIF for the closing gala. Trevor Smith's The Small. That's the closing gala. The opening gala is I Saw the Light at the Jack Singer Concert Hall, September 23rd, 7:30 p.m. And lots in between for the 12 days. There's the closing gala right there at Theatre Junction. Great venue as well on October the 4th for 6:30. Well, congratulations. Happy film festing. Thanks
and
for having us.
congratulations to you on your project. Looking forward to what's ahead, end of September.